Welcome back to We Come From The Future, a podcast about inspiring people from the future. Today we talk about coaching. The word seems to come from a science fiction novel, but it does not descend from the future. It ascends from the past, from the 16th century. In Old English, coach means carriage, where you get into a carriage to reach your destination faster. You set a target and get into the carriage to accelerate the journey to your goal. A coach today is the equivalent of that carriage. They accompany and support you to reach your objective faster. When you are in the fog, you need direction and someone to help you see more clearly through the mist surrounding you. You decide which path to take and where you want to go, but when you look inside yourself and see fog, you have a problem. The coaching is a solution to this problem. A coach is the clear mirror in which you reflect yourself to see better within yourself. Hi, I'm Ira Brand, and today we have the privilege of speaking with Magdalena Nowicka Mook, the CEO of the International Coaching Federation, ICF. Magdalena is here in Bucharest for the largest coaching and leadership conference in Southeast Europe, organized by ICF Romania. With her extensive experience in strategic planning, cultural competence, and international affairs, Magdalena has been instrumental in growing ICF into a leading global organization. As we explore the future of leadership and coaching, Magdalena's insights will undoubtedly provide valuable perspectives on innovation and the impact of the coaching in the rapidly evolving professional landscape. Magdalena, welcome to We Come From The Future. In a way, you are coming from the future. You are coming from the United States, the most technological country in the world. We have actually today kind of a technological tsunami coming towards us. How can we position ourselves in this new world? Talking about specifically about coaches and coaching, how can we position as coaches in the new world?
Thank you for the invitation to start with, and it's such a pleasure to be here in Romania, in Bucharest, but also to be here on a podcast. I think that coaching in itself is an innovation already. And although ICF exists for 30 years this year, we've been evolving as much as anything around us is evolving. And technology is at such a fast pace that we have to keep up or try to keep up to remain relevant. I have very positive view of technology and coaching because I think that coaching, especially artificial intelligence, can be a huge accelerator for the access to coaching from the perspective of people who want to become coaches, but also from those who can so benefit from coaching, as you so eloquently described in your introduction. So technology is here, AI is here to stay, and I think that our job is to make sure that we find the best applications of technology for the further success and further evolution of coaching.
About ICF, International Coaching Federation, you are the CEO of this organization, and I think every coach in the world is dreaming of being accredited by ICF. What is ICF? For a larger audience, what is ICF? What are you doing, and what are the perspectives of this organization?
ICF was created in 1995, and it's actually not a common knowledge that ICF was created not as community of professional coaches, but rather to give credibility to then very new, very young, budding profession. And to this day, this is what we do as an organization. We are promoting the impact of coaching and excellence in coaching. Our vision is to see the world with coaching is instrumental to transforming societies. Currently, we have 62,000 members in 157 countries, and also we do offer professional credentials. We consider it gold standard, and almost 60,000 individuals carry that credential around the globe. So what we do, we set the standard, we advocate for coaching, and we give enough information to coaches to be well prepared to offer this service, but also on the flip side, we are educating the public about what coaching is, what coaching is not, where to apply coaching, where coaching is maybe not the best solution, and most importantly, what is the return on investment and return on expectation while engaging in coaching relationship.
ICF is a very large organization, and this organization has also a Romanian chapter. You came to Romania to be part of the conference organized by ICF Romania. What was your feeling during this conference?
So we finished yesterday, the first day, the in-person day of a conference, and it was elating. It was absolutely fantastic to see many people in the room. People, and I asked, coaches, HR professionals, business people, learning and development, talent development people, all in the same room to learn from each other, to learn, of course, from the speakers. But what was so amazing was the energy in the room and the conviction, pride, and perhaps the purpose that we talk a lot in coaching, purpose behind promoting this profession and bringing it to as many people as absolutely possible. So huge congratulations to ICF Romania chapter with all the volunteers and all the colleagues that helped make it happen.
You have some Polish blood in your veins.
So most of it.
You are coming from the United States, but you are kind of linked to this part of Europe, southeastern Europe. We are talking about coaching, but we live in a society that went through about half a century of communism, and so it was very difficult to go from there to today, to nowadays. How do you feel coming from the United States in this cultural space, in this Eastern Europe? What's your feeling here?
I lived in Poland until I was an adult, born and raised in Poland. I actually lived in Poland through the communist era. I left after the Berlin Wall came down, and I also had a pleasure of getting my master's degree in international relations and economics during the time of the system change. That was absolutely brilliant to live through, if you will. So what I see now in Poland, in Romania, in the surrounding countries, is the accelerated pace of development and the evolution. I would say for coaching, possibly a faster one that was observed in say, Western Europe or North America. We got a lot of learning from those pioneers, if you will, in coaching, and now those learnings can be applied in an efficient and effective way to see the growth in as we said, a more accelerated pace. So I'm very positive also about the future growth, because I think as more people are aware of coaching and as we have more well-prepared, professionally trained coaches, then frankly, the sky is the limit.
We are living in a very accelerated pace world brought by technology and everyday life. Coaching is a field where we can innovate, like in many other fields. You are the CEO of ICF. How does ICF intend to innovate in the coaching field?
I think I will answer it twofold. One is innovation in how we teach coaching, how we evaluate coaching, how we prepare professional coaches, who we encourage to become a coach. That's more of an internal look into what coaching is and how coaching is evolving, also with the application of new technologies and also application of research in adult learning, in the gains in professional coaching. The other innovation, which is equally important, is where and how coaching is being applied. We are seeing more and more need for more systemic application of coaching. So although it still works beautifully one-on-one coaching, how can we influence larger systems? How can we influence communities, corporations, maybe even countries through the governments and not-for-profit organizations to really talk about finding a solution for large populations or finding solutions for large societal problems. And that's the innovation that I think has only started beginning. And we are trying to capture and really harness the power or more systemic application of coaching.
What did get you to the coaching field? I mean, I make a personal confession. I had my middle-age crisis and so a lot of problems, and then I tried to find solutions for my problems, and that's how I discovered the coaching. And I was trained for this job. I was in love with the coaching because I really need it. So it was a very powerful moment in my professional life and personal life. How did you get there?
Coaching found me. That was a little bit the other way around. I was hired by ICF at that point as an assistant executive director because ICF was looking for somebody with vast international experience and association management experience, and that was me. Of course, very soon after, I started working with professional coach, and much like you, I was lost to the rest of the world. Soon after, I was trained as professional coach, and the rest is the history, and that history is spreading for almost 20 years now.
Let's imagine you were not a coach today. You never touched the coaching. What would you miss the most, knowing what a coach is?
Human connection. Ability to build true, authentic, deep human connections. That would be definitely one. The other one, communication. We know that communication is a culprit for so many things that don't go well. Coaching allows, of course, the self-awareness first and foremost, and therefore an ability to communicate in a language that is understandable to the person we're talking to. So I think those two, the ability to communicate clearly and ability to build true human connections, would be dearly missed.
You said a very interesting word, connection. It's a very important word. I was listening to you, and I imagine this kind of a dialogue, like in coaching. You have the coach and the client talking, having a dialogue. When I'm listening to you, I have the feeling that I understand what you are saying. But in fact, I understand what I can understand from your speech. And you understand what I'm telling you, not what I'm thinking, but what you feel about what I'm thinking. How do you see this kind of connection between the coach and the client, knowing that it's not so easygoing? I mean, apparently it's very easy. We're just talking.
Sure.
But in fact, we know as coach that it's a very subtle art in place. How do you describe the real dialogue between a client and a coach?
Trust. Trust is the absolute must in a coaching relationship, and it doesn't necessarily happen from the first session, right? Sometimes it takes a little while to establish that level of trust between the coach and the client. And from the coach's perspective, it is that ability to listen for what's not being said. It's that ability to challenge a little, to dig a little. So many times we see it, especially in beginning coaches, when the client says, I want to work on X, the coach accepts it, rather than maybe stay with that question a little bit longer and to say, but why about this? It's almost like childlike relations, like, but why? But why? But why? To the extent that you finally get to what is the real reason for the want or need of an individual to have to be exposed to coaching. So a coach is definitely need to be attuned to a person they are talking to, and to be able to be empathetic, of course, but also to be that accountability partner and a challenger at times when maybe the client is still not quite ready to be fully open. Let me give you a little anecdote from my own experience. The very first coach I worked with, I'm still friends with her, and that was a long time ago. And several years back, I called her and I said, Beth, I have to apologize. She says, apologize for what? And I said, I was not a very accessible client. Now, I totally understand what you tried to do with me. I totally understand what you tried to take me in our coaching relation, but I wasn't ready for that yet. And I thank you for opening my eyes to where we can go, and apologize for not being there at that time.
Nice. What's the most precious thing you take with you from the coaching experiences you have, from your clients, from your traveling through this extraordinary job?
It is extraordinary, and I have a very deep sense that with coaching and bringing awareness of coaching, we truly are changing the history. And I don't think many times in our lives we're afforded the ability and the possibility, opportunity to be on the front lines of something so significant happening. So it's a true honor and privilege to be in this position, and just praying every day that I'm giving it my best, and that we are in fact progressing.
The world is changing very fast. Everything changes every day, every second. Is there something that doesn't change?
Yeah, the need for humanity. And I think especially, as you mentioned, we are in a tsunami of technology changes. And technology is great. I love technology, and I think technology is making such a significant changes for efficiency, effectiveness, speed. Think about medicine, think about so many things we do every day today that we didn't even think about, or they didn't exist when we were first born. But we cannot forget that we are the human species, and what is truly important is that connection, and not forgetting our humanity, because then we can allow ourselves, push ourselves into the areas that the return may be very difficult.
We are making here a show about technology, entrepreneurship, artificial intelligence, and so on. But very often, people who are coming here, they imagine that technology is the device I have in my pocket, my phone or my computer. And in fact, all these devices are produced by the technology, exactly. But they are not the technology, they are the product of the technology. And basically, I'm a philosopher. I studied philosophy when I was a young people. And very often I go in the root of the word to understand what's talking about. And the root of the word technology, it's coming from ancient Greek. There are two words mixed, techne and logos. Techne, in fact, is coming from an Indo-European, Proto-European root, tek, T-E-K. It's a verb, meaning it's a word, to wave, like waving a carpet. So in fact, technology is the art of waving the future, of course. For you, what does it mean, technology? When I say technology, what are you thinking of?
Enabler. I think enabler, and I think also the eye-opener. Eye-opener from the perspective that technology brought solutions that really would not exist. There is this famous saying by Mr. Ford, who started Ford Motor Company, who said, if I did what people wanted me to do, we would have faster horses rather than the car, right? So technology is something that's bringing solutions that of course were not being thought about before, but they are saving lives. They are saving the planet. They are opening possibilities for something that didn't exist. And it's just about every time we have some kind of a technical and technological revolution, there is fear. There is a lot of fear. And as we said, 10 years later, you don't even remember that something didn't exist. I talk sometimes to my nieces and nephews, and they look at me like I was really from a very, very old times and maybe different planet. When I ask them if they remember fax machine, they were like, huh? And that was what we were using, right? And also when we hear, even now in coaching, will technology, will AI take my job? Well, I don't think so, to start with. But second, think about jobs that do not exist anymore because they were replaced by technology or something else. And yet, there are new jobs being created and are being actually better for the individuals who choose to reskill or upskill to be able to perform those jobs. So instead of fear, I am a proponent of enthusiasm with a keen eye on ethical boundaries to use technology.
Yeah, we have a lot of ethical problems, of course, because all these technologies are very disruptive. We don't really know how to deal with it, but it happens all the time when we shift another paradigm in economics, in technology, in society, in politics, in anything we touch. Let's come back a bit in Romania. You spend some times with ICF Romania, but you have maybe sometimes to discover the city of Bucharest, just have few impressions. What do you feel here behind the ICF Romania event?
Sure. I didn't have much time to explore the city. It was mostly driving from the hotel to this place today. But yeah, there were some places I remember from 25 years ago, and they didn't change much, like the Parliament building. And yet, it is a different vibe. Of course, it's a beautiful sunny day, but there is a different vibe with people smiling and wearing colorful clothes. I seriously remember from my times 25 years ago, everybody was wearing gray or black. So if one wanted to just have a snippet, that is observable change already, and seeing the names of multinational organizations, hearing music, seeing multicultural restaurants, things like that. You can tell Romania is a very, very different pace that it used to be, and Romania is a modern country with a lot of technology being present here and a lot of potential for growth, which is great news for coaching, because coaching can accelerate that growth as well.
I'm glad you're here, because our audience is mostly very young entrepreneurs building startups and building the economy of the future. What would you say to these young people coming to the market right now with all these new tools? When I was young, I didn't have these tools. I dreamt about having tools, changing the world and so on. But they have those tools. They really have it. And they are coming on a market which is very complex now. What would you say to these young people building their lives, being at the beginning of their professional life on the market today? I'm not talking about only Romania, but everywhere, because Romanians, like the young Americans, British, French, they are the same.
I think that the first thing I would say is that do remember you are at the beginning of your professional career. You got many years in front of you, and don't lock yourself into anything specific for always. Just think about this entrepreneurial spirit. Think about what brought you to the point you are, and think about what's going to be your next move. Today, one of the speakers at the ICF Romania conference will be Marshall Goldsmith, and you probably may know about his book, What Got You Here Won't Got You There, and that's so true. So stay curious, continue learning, and don't give up. Don't give up.
What is your plan for the future of ICF? I mean, as every CEO, you have some plans from the future. Imagine we are in 2027, 2028, maybe 2030. How does ICF look now, there, compared to now?
I certainly see ICF being a larger organization by numbers, but that's not the point. The point is that ICF and coaching is being considered as a very, very powerful tool to be used and methodology to be used to solve major problems, either economic, social, you name them. My staff will tell you that every so often when I want the shortcut for explaining what I want, I said, I want ICF to be a Davos. And I do. I want ICF and coaching not to be a whisper, not to be a nice to have, but an absolute must. Because it is working and because it's helping people and organizations. So coaching for good and being at the most important conversations that are happening for the future of the planet.
I have the feeling of listening to the future. We are at the end of our interview, and I'm just curious to know your feeling here in this environment we build here at We Come From the Future.
It's an amazing space. It's absolutely beautiful space. It's compact and yet open. It's inviting, yet slightly scary with all the machinery around. But it's very comfortable. It's very inviting. So I think that this is also a very, very specific skill to make sure that with the technology, one can make a space so inviting. So thank you.
Thank you, Magdalena, for being with us at We Come From the Future.
I'm really, really happy to be here.
Dear listeners, you've heard from Magdalena Nowicka Mook, the CEO of the International Coaching Federation, ICF. Magdalena joined us in Bucharest for the largest coaching and leadership conference in Southeast Europe, organized by ICF Romania. To learn more about ICF and its work, visit their website, coachingfederation.org. For information specific to ICF Romania, you can check out their dedicated page, coachingfederation.ro. Our media network, We Come From the Future, is available on various social media platforms, including YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And we are excited to announce our upcoming projects, a video news journal called News from the Future, featuring digital avatars, and the radio We Come From the Future, entirely built with artificial intelligence. I'm Miral Brand, and I look forward to seeing you on We Come From the Future. Stay well, but don't worry, we come from the future, and everything will be fine.